Hello, Glue Troopers. Max and Max's Models here, reporting from St. Petersburg, Florida. Luckily, my hotel is right across the street from the Salvador Dali Museum and right next to Albert Whitted Field, which has one of my favorite little dining spots. It's the Hangar restaurant. This is not an airport restaurant per se. It's more of a restaurant that happens to be on the airport. Great view of the ramp and all the operations and everything. So I was out there enjoying my brunch and watching planes come and go. Actually, not a lot of operations a day. It's 90 degrees outside and humid. And it reminded me of my days as a flight instructor and all of those Cherokees baking alive. Yeah, not a lot of nostalgia there. Nope, not missing that. I'll stay in my air-conditioned jet. That is the source of one of my biggest disagreements with Ken. He loves the Pipers, the low-wing aircraft. I prefer the Cessnas, the high-wing aircraft. And that has to do probably for my PTSD of 1,000+ hours of instructing in the Florida heat in a plexiglass bubble with a little 4-inch window for ventilation versus the high-wing Cessna that carries its shade with it. Hey, it's all about your experiences, right? So if you happen to be in the St. Pete area, down by the marina, by the Dali Museum, on the airport, they're right at the end of the scenic drive. There is the Hangar restaurant. I do recommend it. You can sit in the air conditioning or out on the balcony and just watch the planes come and go all day. By the way, I saw one airplane you don't see too often, and that was the Beechcraft Skipper. Although I got a lot of time in Seminoles, I've never actually flown the Skipper, but I always thought it'd be a great little personal tootle-around airplane. Of course, I wouldn't mind a Seminole either, but good God, those things have all gotten so blasted expensive. And everybody wants to use them as trainers, and of course flying schools buy them up left and right. I also saw the rare Civil Air Patrol airplane. Officially, I believe it's the Air Force Auxiliary. And by the way, a lot of people don't know the Coast Guard has an auxiliary also that has some airplanes that go out and watch ships and stuff. But the Civil Air Patrol, or CAP, is a great little organization, and my dad was in it. In fact, some of my earliest rides were in CAP aircraft. And now they have much fancier airplanes. I see they have a unit here, and they have one up in White Plains that I see has, I think, a Cessna 172, but these guys somehow rated a Cessna 206, so that's pretty cool. And a few planes coming and going. Saw a Cessna Cardinal RG, which is one of my favorite planes. This was supposed to be the replacement for the Cessna 172, but it just never did replace it. In fact, if you guys want, we might talk about that at the live stream. They're both good airplanes. I personally prefer the fixed gear Cardinal just for simpler maintenance. Don't have to play with the maintenance on a retractable landing gear. I almost bought a fixed gear Cardinal. It's kind of one of my dream planes, 180 horse with a 3-blade constant speed prop. And I saw one. The price was fair. The plane was in great shape, but I just wasn't in a position to buy. Anyway, of course, nowadays, there's very little chance of me ever owning a small plane. They're just too expensive. That simple. But the restaurant has all kinds of cool stuff on display, including some models. They have a real airplane, a home built, hanging from the ceiling, and a chunk of a Cessna 150 or 152, as set decoration, you might say. A lot of artwork. It's just a great vibe in the place. Really good wait staff. Of course, they call them flight crew. And they have a full bar and everything. And you can sit inside or outside, watch the operations. And they have a little sort of lobby pilot area that has a pretty nice, probably Guilo's C-47, or excuse me, DC-3, Eastern DC-3 on display. So definitely a piloty place for pilots and everybody else. Very much a family-friendly restaurant. So guys, take care of yourselves. I hope you're doing well. And as always, model on. These airplanes live under a bridge by the river.